welcome to Jet Radio. I'm Ted Shire, your host, and with me today is Marci Rafdal, and she's been with the City of Des Moines for over 20 years. She is the administrator of the Des Moines Community Action Agency, and today we're going to talk about community service. A few introductory remarks before we start. Jet Radio is dedicated to community service as a means of sustainability. The more that we have people involved in the community, using their gifts, skills, talents, and experience, the more sustainable it will be. And sustainability is a very important topic these days as all parts of the world are becoming less sustainable. We're consuming more with increased population, and we need to take better care of our resources in order to make them last and to use them efficiently for the decades to come. And so some recent stats that I came across in terms of that issue are the UN recently upgraded their population estimates by quite a bit. So originally many figures were hovering around the 9 billion mark around 2050, and now they've upgraded that to about 9.6 billion by 2050. And again, another change has been that originally many figures projected that the population would decrease starting in the 2050s, and now the latest projection is that it will continue to increase up towards 11 billion by the end of this century. And almost all that increase is going to come in Africa, and that's an area where they've had a lot of soil degradation in the sub-Saharan region. And so they're going to need a lot of international assistance if those projections come true. But in order to help them, we would have to take care of our soil here, and that's really not occurring to a degree that it needs to here or other parts of the world. Some of the soil scientists have started to measure soil loss rates, and it varies from 3 to 40 times the replacement rate at which soil is formed naturally. And unfortunately, those may be underestimates in many cases because of the type of erosion that's measured. They measure sheet and rill erosion rates, and that does not include other types of erosion such as gully erosion, tillage erosion, and tunnel erosion. And they work on large-scale averages, and so that also discounts localized areas where there are heavy losses of soil. Another aspect, by way of introduction, is that governments have taken over responsibility for those in need. And we need all sectors, and government has a very important role. It's just that there are certain things that we've learned from the housing projects, et cetera, where there's a certain type of community assistance without accountability and without community that doesn't work very well, that hasn't had a very good track record. Whereas when all the sectors are involved, or where there's a community involved, where people are helping people, that has a much better track record. We're going to draw on Marci's experience today. Much of the background is provided by Everyone Needs Sustainability, a book that I'm authoring and working on that deals with the different types of sustainability and how they interact. That's personal, community, financial, and environmental. And every type of sustainability is based on human behavior. So it starts with personal sustainability. And so that's both where the problem and the solution begin. So this week's focus is community sustainability and how government agencies can interact with other sectors. The call-in number is 515-244-0077. And Marci, could you introduce yourself to us and tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and your work?
Certainly. I'm Marci Rafdal. I'm the Community Action Administrator at the City of Des Moines. We are one of 18 community action agencies across the state. Every one of the 99 counties is served by a community action agency. We're all a little bit different because we are charged to find the gaps and fill those gaps in with services and programs that help our low-income families.
Do the so with if the agencies are diversified and they do a little bit of fine tuning depending on the location, do they also interact with each other?
Oh, we certainly do.
Okay.
We work together across the state with state groups and state programs. In fact, one of the great programs we are just winding up now for the year is the Embrace Iowa program. It's a program where community action agencies across the state and through the Iowa Community Action Association work with the Des Moines Register. Customer contributions are provided to the agencies, and assistance is given to families for programs that or for services that otherwise aren't found in other programs or are very hard to access. So it's a great program statewide, and thank you to all the Des Moines Register readers who can give their contribution to that program.
Okay. And is that a donation-based program, or is that by purchasing the paper?
It's strictly donation.
Okay.
The Register does some wonderful articles each year starting in November talking about what the program has done for families, what the program could do for families, and the readers send in their contributions. It's just been wonderful.
Okay. And so is that a certain time of the year?
It starts in November, works through the holiday season. Agencies are just now wrapping up their payments to the families, helping them purchase items that they needed.
Okay. So is that is it a set schedule, or is that adjusted according to the recipients, or
schedule as far as time goes?
You said the distributions are just finishing up now.
Yes.
Okay.
We receive our funds in December and January and February. So each agency has their own method and protocol for putting those funds out to the families.
Okay. And what agencies are involved?
All 18 community action agencies in the state.
Wow. Okay. No, that's so that's a program that really does some coordinating.
It does take some coordinating. However, each agency is in charge of their own application process and their own process of paying the funds to the families or helping the families purchase the items that they need. And then we're, of course, reporting back to the Community Action Association, which reports back to the Des Moines Register.
Okay. And so how do they adjust the management of those programs? So if they can decide on their own application process, what are the kind of factors that they take into account in determining how they manage their program?
The application is an essay-type application. Families must be at 200% of poverty or below. And each agency has a little bit different process. At Des Moines Community Action Agency, we convene a team of staff and most years board members that work through those essays, and those most compelling essays are those families who receive the grant money.
Okay, and so we got the application that's variable amongst the agencies.
It's the same application. It's just that process is different. The outcome is the same. Families receive items. This year at Des Moines Community Action Agency, we're looking at some individuals that need eyeglasses, beds, automobile repair, tires for their cars. I believe we've got a couple stoves this year.
Yeah.
So those, and I think a refrigerator. So those things, families that are struggling financially don't always have the extra money to purchase. This is a program that does that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm trying to get more of a feel of the variability in the programs. So amongst the 18 programs, how much variability is there in the type of programs that they offer?
Oh, across the community action agencies?
Mm-hmm.
In Des Moines, we provide our major program is LIHEAP. We have a food pantry, personal pantry. We do financial education, and a series of other programs. Some of those are available at other community action agencies, some not. other community action agencies across the state manage the FADS program. Some of them do WIC programs. Some of them have mental health programs. It varies depending on what the communities need.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, and that's what I was trying to understand better.
Okay.
Tell us about the FADS program.
I don't really know a lot about it. We don't have it.
All right.
So,
WIC.
We don't have that in Des Moines either. So.
Okay. I've spent quite a bit of time with NAMI. I've had family members that have been involved in that program, and I've struggled with mental illness myself, with depression and anxiety issues in the past. But are you familiar with what's going on with those programs?
I know of them, but not probably familiar enough to talk about them.
Yeah.
So we don't administer those programs, so I'm probably not as knowledgeable about them as I should be.
No problem. One thing I wanted to mention, because it's a topic that I wanted to address today at some level. I understand that you want to be careful in representing the city of Des Moines, and this is more me. I'm not. This is more a sustainability idea that I'm throwing out, and not asking you to misrepresent your employer. But one of the ways that I think that we can become more sustainable, because it is such a burden to any one agency, is to have more family-to-family mentoring, and we did talk about some examples of that. There's examples like Family Promise, which has been around for quite a while, that started on the East Coast, where certain types of families qualify to be taken in by a provider family, and it's worked very well and has had a high success rate. But programs like NAMI also have family-to-family programs, and in fact, they call it that at many of the NAMI sites. And so there's peer-to-peer programs at NAMI and family-to-family programs, and that's the family-to-family is when a family member who has had mental illness, or a family member that has had mental illness, learns about how to help their family member. And there's a whole course around that provides a lot of resources concerning guardianship, a variety of resources that can help their family member or them. And peer-to-peer is when people with mental illness help each other, again, guided by materials that NAMI provides, and NAMI stands for the National Alliance for the Mentally Ill. So a couple of examples of that, and one of the reasons why it works well, why family has worked, why peer-to-peer has worked, is because helping others helps us. And so just want to introduce some of the benefits to the volunteers and to the givers from that type of exchange. And for volunteers, it's a way for volunteers, for people that can't afford to give financially, to give back. So if someone is receiving assistance, they can't afford really to make donations, things of that nature, then they can give of their time, their skills, and their experience. And oftentimes people want to do that, because it gives them reward when they help others. Another example is students. Young people often cannot afford to give financially, and so volunteering their time is something that they can give back. And also they gain experience in their fields of interest by doing so. They can do internships in an area that they are thinking about going into. They can work on projects on a volunteer basis that give them the experience they need. So some other examples are people that have been helped by agencies. Sometimes when they graduate from the program, they go on to become employees. I've seen that happen at a number of different places where I've volunteered, and that's happened at Wildwood Hills Ranch in St. Charles, just south of Des Moines here, Minnesota Teen Challenge, Lutheran Church of Hope. All those places have hired people that have graduated from their programs. There are benefits to the providers or the givers, and so how does adding value to others help the community? There's different types of givers. There's those that have benefits. There are benefits to providers of services or material needs. Providers can manage resources for the common good, such as in the Gates Foundation and the Giving Pledge. Members specifically mention from the Giving Pledge how much giving helps them. And it's a good example of how to give back as well. Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, they both acknowledge how they're grateful for what they received in their education, from their community, from their parents, and they want to give back because of what's been invested in them. Even business really gives back to the community. So TerraPower is a business that ultimately gives back to the community by addressing significant community problems, such as energy supply, nuclear waste, and nuclear terrorist weapons. It's a safer technology that addresses all those. It's currently under development. And another way to give back is through life lessons and passing lessons on from the climax generation to the younger generation. Their life lessons can positively impact a new generation. So many consider this type of giving to be one of the highest forms of relational satisfaction. And John Maxwell has devoted his life to this type of giving. So he has lots of resources along those lines, and the Maxwell plan is designed to facilitate that kind of giving. So, Marci, if I could ask you a follow-up question along those lines, and not trying to paint you into a corner or anything, but what are some of the ways that the retirement generation can help schools or community agencies build stronger communities?
Well, I could speak to our agency, Ted. With our agency, we do some work with volunteers. We don't have a large number of volunteers, but we do have a food pantry where we can always use assistance in keeping that food pantry in order and helping our families pick out their food. We have a food pantry of choice, meaning our families can come to our office and choose from different food group categories the types of food they want. So, for example, I really don't like peas. I don't like canned peas. A lot of the food pantries will bag the food for you and hand it to you. I probably wouldn't want to eat those peas, but in our pantry, I can make a choice between the peas and the green beans or the corn or the mixed vegetables. Likewise, there's a variety of types of rices and sauces that the families can choose from in that process. So we can always use volunteers in that respect as well. Each holiday season in December, we do a holiday food project. We raise funds and look for food donations for our goal is 1,000 families, to provide those families with a 3 to 5 day supply of food items. And in the past, we've done a $20 gift certificate for each family to purchase non-perishable food items, milk, dairy, meats, that type of thing. So that is a big volunteer project for us. Mm-hmm. We're looking for groups and individuals to do food drives or raise money so we can purchase food. We are able to purchase food at a lower price than retail, so that's a wonderful way for us to maybe purchase a little bit more food than donated. But all of our food is donated. The majority of the funding for that project is through donations. So each year we're lucky enough to be hosted by the Catholic Pastoral Center at 6th and Grand downtown, where we sort and pack the food into our food boxes. And then we also do our distribution through that same area on generally the Saturday before Christmas. So the families can have that food through the holidays. We know that children that are home from school on that holiday season that typically get free or reduced lunch aren't getting those lunches. And that just adds a little bit more stress to the already stressful holiday seasons for families.
Yeah. No, thanks for sharing. I've got some follow-up questions for you when we come back. But we're going to go to a break here. Thank you for joining us today. My guest is Marci Rafdal, and she works with the Des Moines Community Action Agency. She's been there for over 20 years, has a wealth of experience that she can share with us regarding the programs that the agency offers, and we will come back. I'm going to have some follow-up questions for the holiday program, and then we'll get into some of the other programs offered by the agency as well.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
I'm Brian Leach, owner of Service Legends, and my position is Chief Talent Officer.
I'm Nicholas Wonderscheid.
I am Bernie Hobbs.
And I'm the Service Manager.
Marketing Director and Client Relations Manager.
Everything that we do is about ensuring that we exceed your expectations.
Our clients are important to us. 100% satisfaction.
We're not just focused on heating and cooling. That's the easiest part of our job, actually, is fixing furnaces and air conditioners.
Everyone that we come in touch with, we want to improve lives.
Bottom line is, we've got our installation guarantees, 25% energy savings guarantee, comfort guarantee, temperature selection guarantee, property protection guarantee.
100% satisfaction guaranteed. Fixed rate or it's free.
All of those guarantees are backed up with a 100% money-back guarantee to hold ourselves accountable to making sure that you get what you're after.
Just fixing the problem today. If they have another problem 5 days down the road, it's still fixed rate or it's free.
We use what's called straightforward pricing. Our technicians are going to give you an exact to-the-penny price on what it's going to take before they move forward with any repair. That way you know what to expect.
It's the same price every day.
No surprises.
If you get off work at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you come home, you realize that, oh, my furnace is broken. Now you need to call somebody out that night. You shouldn't have to pay more for that.
We're guaranteeing service 24/7.
We run afternoons, evenings, nights, weekends. We're staffed to work that.
Phone rings at 3 in the morning. You'll get one of our representatives answering the phone every time.
We're not sending you out to Timbuktu in some call center. It's our Service Legend team members, our mission control team.
I'll take a call anytime.
And then they answer the phones the same way during the day as they do at night.
It's a great day at your service company. How can we make you smile?
That's the only way to provide true 24-hour service.
When you're able to let somebody actually live in their home safely when they weren't able to do that before, where they don't have to stay up at night and worry about, is the heat going to come back on? Are we going to freeze the pipes? Is the baby in the room next door going to be sick because they got too cold? When you're able to help somebody overcome challenges like that, that's impacting a life. That makes a difference. I get goosebumps thinking about it.
I love the team. I love the people that I work with.
We have fun, but we work hard.
I call them my ambassadors of legendary service. If you could just envision what that is, that's who we're sending to your home.
They literally will call in, pick up the phone and call and say, hey, I want to talk to your manager. And I get on the phone, they're like, that technician that was at my house was the greatest technician ever. That's cool to me.
We want to brighten people's days.
Every person that we have going into the house has gone through an extensive background check.
Drug testing, we have a very thorough interview process that 1 out of 140 people make it through.
If we promise you something, that's what you're going to get, no matter what.
We're here when you need us to protect the safety and comfort of your family.
If you're not happy, we're gonna make it right.
If we're willing to put 100% money back guarantee on what we do, what type of work do you think we do?
Give us a call. We're there for you 24/7, 365 days a year.
Enough said.
Hi, welcome back to Jet Radio. I'm Ted Shar, your host, and with me today is Marci Rafdal. She is the director of the Des Moines Community Action Agency, and when we left off, we were talking about the Holiday Food Assistance Program, and I have some follow-up questions for that, and we'll get into some of the other programs as well. So you can take donations.
We certainly can.
Can you tell us more about the details of that?
Well, for any of our programs, we're more than willing to take donations. While we're not a 501c3 that many nonprofits are, we are a governmental agency, and we are just as tax deductible as any other agency. So we're willing and happy to take donations from the community for our programs.
Okay, and how does that work? Now you can take both food and money.
And money, yes. We can take checks. It's a little easier than cash, but you can also donate online if you go to our city website at www.dmgov.org/hs/DMCAA. You'll find a donate button, and through that you can go into the City of Des Moines store and make donations to our agency for a number of different programs, from the Holiday Food Project to our garden project to our personal pantry, or our crisis assistance programs.
Are there certain programs that have to receive donations, or if you had, an abundance of donations, you could expand as much as those donations allowed? Is that
certainly? I'll give you one example. Our personal pantry. In our personal pantry, we provide items for cleanliness, personal cleanliness, shampoo, soaps, and household cleanliness. So laundry detergents and dish soap, those types of things. And a big thing is incontinence items for seniors. I mean, we mentioned seniors a little earlier. Those are very expensive. And we know that, for example, using a name brand, Ford Depends would get somebody to church for 4 weeks. It's a huge issue for seniors. So if we just had some more donations, we could purchase more of those incontinence help items, or more deodorant, more shampoo, more laundry detergent, or more of all the above, so that we can serve families more often. At this point, we're serving families about once every 90 days with our emergency personal pantry, and we would like to step that up.
Mm-hmm. And that's sort of your regulation, your limit. They can come, and then they can't come for
another 3 months, right?
Okay.
And that goes just because we don't have a lot of, we're building support for it, but we need more items. It's a very sought-after program.
Mm-hmm. Great. You had mentioned the LIHEAP program is one of the most popular.
Well, it's our largest program by far.
Okay. Tell us about that and why it's the largest.
Well, we take nearly 7,000 applications from households in the community. The application process starts actually the 1st of November for the general public. If you're a senior, disabled, or you're in a energy crisis, which includes your furnace not working or you're unable to pay your utility bill, you can apply in October. And for folks that are on a straight fixed income, if they applied the previous year, we start taking those applications late summer. So there's kind of a variety of time that you can apply, and the applications are taken through April 30th. With the LIHEAP program, you get a one-time payment on your utility bill. It ranges from about $80 to around $700. Our average is $400. And as importantly, each family that's approved for LIHEAP receives from the time their application is approved until the 1st of April a moratorium against disconnection, meaning the LIHEAP or the utility company, and in Des Moines it's Mid-American Energy, cannot disconnect you in that time frame.
Yeah.
So if you're unable to, if you have a high bill, you're in the hospital, or something happens one month, you cannot be disconnected. You are liable for those charges once the 1st of April runs around, and subject to disconnect if you cannot make those payments. But it's a great program. It gets you through the winter, and it's very, very good for safety for families in the winter. Now, if you can't make those payments come the 1st of April, LIHEAP also funds an assessment and resolution program. We have other funds that are involved in that program as well, including the iCare program through Mid-American Energy. The iCare program is a customer contribution program that Mid-American customers, when they pay their bill or separately, can donate to this program. Mid-American donates 25 cents on the dollar, So 25% of what's donated, Mid-American matches. And those funds all go to the community in which those donations are made. So, for example, Ted, you live in West Des Moines. If you made a donation in West Des Moines, those funds would go to the families that live in that West Des Moines area, that service area. And those funds go to community action agencies across the state.
Yeah. So do the donations make up the difference for those that can't pay once April comes around? Or
It's helpful. In our agency, we look at your household makeup, whether or not you've paid on your bill through the winter time, if you've applied for LIHEAP, and we have a point system that we use to make a determination. So it's fair for all families. Everybody's treated the same. We're going to look at those types of things as you come in. We may be able to help you with all of your back bill, but frankly, we have some families that have very, very large back bills. They live in big old drafty houses that use a lot of energy, possibly with an old furnace. So their bills can be high, and some as high as $400, $500, $600, $700. I've seen bills as much as $1,000 in some households. So when you're having those kinds of bills in the winter, the families tend to use the summer to make up the difference. But if they're facing disconnection, we can help with that. We can be an advocate with the energy company, and we can make referrals to other agencies that may be able to help out as well. So the funding that we provide in our assessment and resolution program is going to vary fairly dramatically with the need.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so are those that are faced with disconnection prioritized for the weatherization programs?
No, the weatherization program, when you apply for LIHEAP, you are automatically applying for weatherization as well. Not to say that you can't come into our office and make a weatherization application if you have not applied for LIHEAP. So you moved into a new house in the summer and you want to do a weatherization application, we can do that. The weatherization program, their process is that each spring, the LIHEAP program provides information to the state, and the state works with the utility companies to come up with the usage for each household. And the households are then ranked by usage. So those that are the highest users are worked on, the houses are worked on first, and then it works down through the system. So
yeah. And what do you know what the difference is in those numbers in terms of, hey, before weatherization versus after weatherization?
I can't speak to the program today, but I started out in the community action world in weatherization, and I know that there were houses that we weatherized that we were able to save between 25 and 50%. And it depends on how the house is built and what efficiencies are already there. But there can be some very great savings through the weatherization program.
Yeah, no, that's excellent. So we've got, let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 different programs. Is that right?
That sounds about right.
Okay. What do you feel are some of the next most impactful programs? Could we talk about the financial Energy-Wise class program?
Yes. When we have our assessment and resolution program or other crisis assistance programs, we have we call it positive sanction. We require our families receiving those funds to attend our financial and Energy-Wise class. It's a 2-hour class centered on how we can help the families start down the road towards saving, so they're not so surprised when a crisis comes, if you will. So we're hoping that those utility bills get paid with this program. However, we do see families that come back and tell us how beneficial it was. It's a coaching program, so we want our families to start thinking about how they can change their lifestyles to save themselves some money. So, for example, when you leave the room, do you turn the lights off? What do you do? Do you leave your TV on when you go out at night? What are you doing to help conserve your energy? We had one family with a number of children that they used a dishwasher. She says, I use my dishwasher on a regular basis. when we talked about how expensive it was to use that dishwasher, and keep in mind, she had a vintage 1960s dishwasher. She came back and said, I've got these 7 kids, and each of them got a day doing dishes. We don't use that dishwasher except on special occasions. And you know what? Just my electric bill alone went down $70 after she took the class. So keeping in mind she had that vintage dishwasher and 7 kids, so it probably ran quite often, she was able to save money just by changing their habits on running their dishwasher.
Yeah.
So we try to talk to our families about those types of things. But we also get into some basics of financial education. We talk about credit scores and what they do and can't do for you. We talk about how you want to save for crises. If your tires are bald, you got to know that someday they're going to blow out. So start putting a little bit of money aside. So that's not a huge crisis. Other things that we talk about, look about where you buy your pop or soda. If you go to Quick Trip every morning and you spend $1.80 on your soda, could you be better served by buying some cans of pop and having it at home and taking it with you? So we are we're hoping that our families are taking baby steps after this program, and our statistics are showing that does happen. We find that approximately 80% of our families 3 months later have either reduced the debt on their utility bill, or they have made payments every month for 3 months following the class.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Could you explain the nature of coaching to us?
While we do give telling any of our families what to do, we can make suggestions, but we can't tell you this is how you should change things. Each of our families are coming up with their own goals and making their own decisions. But we're providing some information for them to make those decisions on. Mm-hmm. And frankly, most of our families really already know most of what we're talking about, just need some reminders sometimes.
Yeah. How does the information that you provide impact their decision-making process? So if you tell them that some figures about type 2 diabetes, does that impact pop consumption? And
well, we don't do that, so I don't know. But we do talk about, for example, sometimes cigarettes are brought up. If you're smoking 3 packs of cigarettes a day, how much money are you spending through the year? We do know we've had some individuals stop smoking or cut back, or we do know that some individuals have changed their brand and gone to something that's not quite as expensive. All different ways to save some money.
Mm-hmm. What about health information? Do you provide health and nutrition information?
In that class, no.
Okay. Is that something that might be a possibility?
In the future, we hope so.
Okay. No, that's interesting. So what about the food pantry of choice? Well, is there anything that you wanted to add in terms of you talked about how they can make their own selections versus having someone else bag it for them? Are there other features of that program that you'd like to highlight?
I think one feature that's a little different from most of the food pantries in the community, we're open from 11 to 1, Monday through Friday, and again from 3 to close of business on 5 days a week. But our business closes during the LIHEAP season, so from October through April, we close at 7 on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and during the summer, 6 on Tuesday and Thursdays. And all other nights we close at 5. Mm-hmm. So we're a little unusual in that we are open after hours. Mm-hmm. One nice thing about being part of the Move the Food network, we are able to take clients from any part of the DMARC Move the Food organizational area. So if you live in Urbandale or Clive or Ankeny, you can come to our food pantry and we can serve you. So that's really nice for all the folks that work in Des Moines that can't get home in time to take advantage of the food pantries in their own communities.
Okay, great, thanks. We are coming up on our next break here, and with me today is Marci Rafdal. She is the director of the Des Moines Community Action Agency. She has over 20 years experience there and is telling us about their programs. When we come back, we'll continue discussing some of the other programs. There's 17 altogether, and also discuss how it relates to sustainability. So thanks for joining us today.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can give these grandkids back, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We can help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Hi, welcome back to Jet Radio. I'm Ted Char, your host, and with me today is Marci Rafdal. She is the director of the Des Moines Community Action Agency, and she's here today helping us to understand their programs and how it helps to facilitate community sustainability. So we're going to move on to the garden project. So tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, the garden project is a wonderful project, Ted. It provides an ongoing summer supply of food for families. We provide for those eligible families, which is at 100% of poverty or below. They just need to live in the city of Des Moines with a $25 certificate to local garden center for plants and seeds to grow fruits and vegetables in their own gardens. We're just really excited about this program. In addition to the actual program, we team up with the Des Moines Library and have classes that we have a master gardener talk about, okay, so you're going to plant a garden. How do you do it? What do you do? Where do you start? And then we have a nutritionist talk about, okay, once you get all those tomatoes sitting on your kitchen table, what are you going to do with them? I'm a big proponent of both classes. I know back in my early gardening days, I thought I needed to have cucumbers so I could make pickles. And I bought 3 packages of cucumber seeds. And I tell you what, that's too many cucumbers. So it's nice to have somebody give you that type of advice before you start planting. So we're real excited about these classes. We've been doing them now for about 6-7 years and are excited to team up with the Des Moines Library to do so.
Yeah, you're right. This does have an impact on sustainability because when you buy seeds, that goes a very long way. How long does $25 worth of seeds last?
Well, it depends on what you buy, of course, and the size of the plant you buy. I know that, you can spend more money on a nearly grown tomato plant than you do a package of seeds. And some of that depends on when you're planting and how you're planting.
Yeah. No, thanks for explaining that. What is the Master Gardener class? Is that something that's free, or how long does it last?
Certainly, it is. I think the class lasts an hour to an hour and a half, and it's just the basics of gardening: where to start and how to do it.
Okay. And what about the Hunger Hike? Isn't that related as well?
Well, we received some funding from the Hunger Hike. So a year ago, the Hunger Hike provided $1,000 towards this program. So we are very, very grateful to everybody in the community that donated to the Hunger Hike and to the Hunger Hike organization for, in turn, donating to our program.
Mm-hmm. And how many families are helped?
We're helping somewhere around 500 families each year. The balance of our funding for this program is through our Community Services Block Grant, which is a federal funding.
Mhm. Are those grants hard to get? The federal block grants?
In this case, our community services block grant is aimed at community action agencies. So if you're a community action agency, no. If you're not, yes.
Okay. I gotcha. Anything else you wanted to say about the garden project?
Not about the garden project, but it's a great project. Stop by at our office at 1618 6th Avenue to apply for that. We'll start taking applications after the 1st of April.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a nutritionist that you utilize with that program or other
Yes,
programs?
we do, and I'm not able to tell you her name at this point. But we do have that class scheduled.
Yeah.
So if you check our website, you should be able to get more information about that coming up in the next few weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what a nutritionist could do in terms of designing the most sustainable allowance of seeds, the type of seed selections that would go the furthest and help the most.
And that might be the master gardener that could answer that question as well.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. What about the GRASP program for?
That's one of my favorites, Ted. We team up with the Des Moines Parks Department. Our goal is to have low-income children and families have accessibility to the wonderful things that the Parks Department does. So any of their individual classes or programs that are presented through the community centers, there is a 50% discount. You can receive a 50% discount on the water vehicles at Grays Lake, 50% discount at Breton Skating Plaza. But the most exciting part about this program, Ted, is the swimming lessons. If you are at or below the 250% of poverty line, your family is eligible for and live in the city of Des Moines, your family is eligible for the GRASS program. And your children can take swimming lessons at the Des Moines City Pools for $5 per child. Typically, they're $30. So we're real excited about this program. And additionally, the Parks Department has season passes for the swimming pools. You can buy a swimming pass for your family at a 75% discount with this GRASP card. So it's a wonderful, wonderful program for our families. A good way to stay cool in the summer, a good way to get some exercise, and a good way to make sure your children are safe in the water.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And how many families participate?
I can't tell you the statistics on that. I'm thinking that we signed up over 600 families this year. Mm-hmm. You do need to bring in your income verification, and that is new this past year. But bring your income verification to the Des Moines Community Action Agency at 1618 6th Avenue to do your application. Then you can apply for the programs online or go to the Parks Department office to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just, as you were talking there, spending time in parks, as you mentioned, exercise is really important. That's a huge personal sustainability issue. But just time in parks, researchers are finding is important. This is nature time.
Oh, and I'm not going to disagree with that. And I tell you what, I believe in the city of Des Moines, we have the best parks. We've got wonderful trail systems. Can't speak enough about what is happening in Des Moines, about the ability for families at a low cost, no cost ability to have exercise. Let's look at Grays Lake. The number of families that you see walking Grays Lake or riding their bikes or roller skating or skateboarding around the lake is just tremendous. And we know that there's other trails and parks in the community that's available too. So our Parks Department does a beautiful job for us.
Yeah. What are you familiar with where Des Moines ranks as a leader in terms of the bike trails?
I know we're in the nation. We're pretty high up on the scale for the number of miles of bike trail per capita. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when I moved down here from Ames in July, and I was just astounded at the number and extent of the bike trails. And there's signage everywhere. And just it's nice.
And we know that they're well used, so that's a big excitement. And the new trails and paths along the river downtown are just amazing. So we've got some great great things. I know I've got a lot of friends that ride bikes, and they're on those bike trails going a lot of places in the summertime. So.
Is that built into future city planning? Bike trails.
I really can't speak to that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not my department, but I know it's something that the city's very proud of.
Sure. No, that sounds good. So you've got the holiday food project, and is the holiday toy project in conjunction with that, or what?
To some extent, we take our applications at the same time. The holiday toy project, we work with the U.S. Marines and their Toys for Tots program. So we're one of the many agencies in central Iowa that distribute toys for the Toys for Tots program. We do take applications in our program based on families must be at that 150% of poverty level. We do allow the families to choose their toys. And again, those toys are donated. So you folks out there that are up for donating, start thinking about what you might give kids at Christmas time next year. Toys are provided for children up to 14. So give it some breadth of thought about what your children at 13, 14, and 10 years old may have wanted. But we do get some wonderful toys, and we're just terribly grateful for the Marines for all they do to help organize that program.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When families come in for the various programs, whether one of the things that I've heard in the past, like with a toy program, that it's difficult for a family to come in, when they can't provide for their family and are receiving donations. What are some of the things that can help deal with the sort of the embarrassment factor, and so that, because obviously the providers want to do that, and they don't want the recipients to be embarrassed, but it's just our human nature.
It's always hard. It's hard for us as humans to ask for help. We know many of our families are under a lot of stress when they come to us. They're not coming to our agency because it's fun, although we do provide some great programs. Our families are coming to us because they feel they need to. And we work to treat our families with the utmost respect. We do ask our families to provide information for us, and we're fairly strict about that information and that it be provided by everybody. We try not to make a lot of exceptions on that because we are trying to be the best stewards of the funds that are provided for us. So we work very, very hard at making sure that our guidelines are met. We are monitored. Our federal funders monitor us often. And we are monitored by not only the federal, we've had federal monitors in, we have state and local monitors in as well. Mm-hmm. So our funds are carefully watched, and we do our best to be good stewards of that money, whether it's those federal programs or it's donated funds.
Yeah, no, I think I've been volunteering for 15 years, and I know, every agency that I've worked with is very concerned about accountability and making the best use of their funds. I think agencies have learned from some of the lessons in the past.
I think so too.
Yeah.
We do have quite a number of other programs where donations are accepted. For example, we have a cooling program in the summertime. And while we don't think that we're going to need any air conditioning or fans this time of year when it's nearing zero, we do accept donations of either cash, window air conditioners, or fans for families that don't have any in the summertime.
Mm. Yeah. So. I wanted to ask a follow-up question. That does apply to most of these programs. But again, in terms of receiving assistance, does the length of the relationship that a family has with your agency break down some of those barriers?
I think it does. Our families get to know our staff, and I think it gets to be a little bit easier when they feel they're coming to see friendly faces other than the unknown.
Yeah. And how do you build those relationships? What are some of the keys that you've learned over the years?
I think that fairness and being friendly as we can. We try to work with all of our families. We see a lot of families. We don't have a lot of staff hours to put forth. So we do work at being professional and kind, trying to be kind at the same time.
Yeah. What about the element of the coaching model where you're asking them about their interests and their skills and their experiences? Do you utilize that kind of approach?
We're talking more to our families about what do you need and what can we do to help you. We're great. We give a lot of references for other agencies in the community. We talk to our families about what else can we do for you, what might we be able to refer you to, so that you can get as much assistance as you need.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Again, we're with Marci Rafdal today. She is the director of the Des Moines Community Action Agency, and she's telling us about their programs. We got about 5 minutes left here, so we're going to wrap up. If you could pick one of the remaining programs that you'd think has highest impact, what would it be?
I think I'm going to go with the furnace repair program, mostly funded by the LIHEAP program. We're able to repair furnaces for families that are LIHEAP approved. If those furnaces are non-repairable or dangerous furnaces, then we're able to replace those.
Yeah. Have you ever interacted with Service Legends? Because they give away like 30 furnaces a year.
That in our program, no. We have a contract with a furnace contractor. We put out an RFP and request for proposal, and I don't believe they've ever put in their name.
Would you be able to accept donations like that with that program? Donated
we would
furnaces?
certainly be happy to talk to anybody. We would not accept used furnaces. Mm-hmm. We would be looking at new furnaces only.
Yeah.
But definitely, that's another program that if you would like to donate some funds to, those would be gladly accepted.
Yeah, and that is a program where it's new furnaces.
Yes.
New furnaces are donated.
Yes, definitely. It would be a replacement furnace, and it would be a new furnace. We typically are putting in 94% efficient furnaces.
Mm-hmm. And what's the need there? How many?
It kind of varies from year to year, surprisingly. If it's colder, the weather's worse, we do more furnaces. Typically, we're repairing and replacing somewhere around 250 furnaces. So
yeah,
it's a pretty heavy need.
Yeah.
And you must, for this program, must be LIHEAP approved and live in the city of Des Moines again.
Right. So, you have 20 years experience. What are some things that you would like to see happen in the future?
Well, certainly, I think the idea of sustainability and people helping people is a wonderful idea. I think it would be great if people just even look at their neighbors in their own neighborhoods and say, what can I do to help my neighbor, the people that live on my block, the families of children that go to my school? What little piece of kindness can you pass out? And of course, if you have the ability, the strength, and the knowledge, there's programs and agencies all over the city that are working towards betterment for our community, and volunteering for any of those is a great idea. So I just would encourage, look around and see what's needed and step up and do it.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us today. And actually, I think that's a great point to kind of close out with is, if people are involved in helping people, families to families, we have a very good chance of remaining sustainable, because there's still a large number of families in our country and many other countries that have abundant skills and resources that they can pass on to others. And again, when they do that, have yet to come across a situation where it doesn't help them as well. And that's from their testimonies. So thank you for joining us today. Again, our guest has been Marci Rafdal. She is the director of the Des Moines Community Action Agency. And we want to thank her. And next time we'll continue our discussion of sustainability. So stay tuned. Thank you.